विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribol, Nitai Gaura Haribol. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। जशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस लभ चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। इस्कॉन बिबड़ी फाउंडर आचार्य जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जाए। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रज में वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। समावेत भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर परमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. Glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Anything special? So much Prabhupada literature is there. Give me anything. Jai. It's my most favorite. I have been telling that this is the volume that made me a devotee. No, we were having 3 parts. Prabhupada brought the original, right? The first volume itself took my wicket. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yesterday we spoke on Bhadra Purnima in Nepierville temple because they were celebrating, and the recommendation of Sutta Goswami in 12th canto was to donate Srimad Bhagavatam set. And I think 5-6 years back, Bhima Prabhu from BBT Mumbai, he stirred up the movement of Bhadra Purnima and made a special campaign to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam by sets. Otherwise, Satsvarupa Goswami Maharaja was distributing in the universities and colleges the whole Bhagavatam set and Chaitanya Charitamrita set. But as the authentic literature in the libraries of the universities, that was called library party. In the first canto, 3rd chapter, which is titled as Krishna is the source of all incarnations, the process of creation has also been described. And then how in the creative forces of material nature, he advented himself from time to time in different forms, in different species of life also. Prabhupada said, Krishna take care and appear in any species of life. It should not surprise us. There are 8.4 million species of life, and as part and parcel, the jiva is entered in. Right? So Krishna has to accompany him as Paramatma also. So why not to uplift that particular species of life by incarnating in that particular species? It doesn't mean Krishna is embodied in material nature. No. If he is the seed-giving father in every living entity, every living species of life, sarva yonishu kaunteya murtayanti sambhavanti ja tasham mahadyonir aham bija pradapita. So he is already there, and yet he wants to incarnate. It's amazing. He is the seed-giving father. So his element as the seed, and the seed is Atma. Krishna claims himself to be the Atma, but at the same time he gives the individual Atma who is separated from him an opportunity by empowering him. So in any species of life, the Paramatma is the empowering agent, and the living entity can be liberated if that living entity works under the direction of Paramatma. So, in the text number 32, chapter number 2, canto 1, the divinity and divine services, the Lord as super soul, yatha hyavahito vahnidaru keshva swayonishu nanena bhati vishvatma bhuteshu cha tathapuman. The Lord as the super soul pervades all things, just as the fire permeates the wood, and so he appears to be of many varieties, though he is the absolute one without second. Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by one of his plenary parts, expands himself all over the material world. And his existence can be perceived even within the atomic energy. Matter, antimatter, proton, neutron, etc. are all different effects of the Paramatma, feature of the Lord. As from wood, fire can be manifested, so as butter can be churned out of milk. So also the presence of the Lord as Paramatma can be felt by process of legitimate hearing and chanting of the transcendental subjects, which are specially treated in the Vedic literature like the Upanishads and Vedanta. Srimad Bhagavatam is a bona fide explanation of this Vedic literature. The Lord can be realized through the oral reception of the transcendental message, and that is only way to experience the transcendental subject. As fire is kindled from the wood by another fire, the divine consciousness of a man can similarly be kindled by another divine grace. His divine grace, the spiritual master, can kindle the spiritual fire from the wood-like living entity by imparting proper spiritual messages injected through the receptive ear. Therefore, one is required to approach proper spiritual master with respective ears only, and thus divine existence is gradually realized. The difference between animality and humanity lies in this process only. A human being can hear properly, whereas the animal cannot. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalaka चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि श्री हरिप्रिय। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। This verse is a challenge to the atomic physics and other so-called scientists who are misguiding the human civilization. They think they can capture God particle. They think they can capture God particle. Since 1959, the research on postulation only in the theory that there exists an antiparticle which is balancing out the existence of particle or particular material world. So the properties of anti-material particle are completely opposite to the material particle. And they postulated a theory that they have been given Nobel Prize, and Prabhupada in his first book that he wrote, is a journey to other planets, that is there. He's citing the very first chapter. And then, you have that book? His Journey to Other Planets, small book. It says that in 1959, two American scientists got the Nobel Prize simply by postulating that there exists an antiparticle, which is the very powerful to sustain the material particles. They are composing the material world. No? Anyway. Oh, you got it. Yeah, get me. Everything is in. All right. Chapter 1, Anti-Material Worlds. Materialistic science may one day finally discover the eternal anti-material world, which has so far long been unknown to the wranglers of gross materialism. Regarding the scientists' present conception of antimatter, the Times of India, October 27, 1959, published the following news release. Stockholm, October 26, 1959. Two American atomic scientists were awarded 1959 Nobel Physics Prize today for the discovery of antiproton, proving that matter exists in two forms, as particles and antiparticles. They are Italian-born Dr. Emilio Sergi, and 69 years of age, and Dr. Owen Chamberlain, born in San Francisco. According to one of the fundamental assumptions of the new theory, that may exist another world or entire world built up of antimatter. This antimaterial world would consist of atomic and subatomic particles spinning in reverse orbits to those of the world we know. If these two worlds should ever clash, they would both be annihilated in one blinding flash. This is the article. In this statement, the following proposition is put forward. There is an antimaterial atom or particle which is made up of the entire qualities of material atoms. This is what Prabhupada is writing. There is another world behind this material world of which we have only limited experience. That's okay. Third one is antimaterial and material worlds may clash at certain period and may annihilate one another. Out of these three items, we, the students of theistic science, can fully agree with items 1 and 2, but we can agree with item 3 only within the limited scientific definition of antimatter. Means we don't agree. Theistic science will not agree to the third proposition. The difficulty lies in the fact that scientists' conception of antimatter extends only to another variety of material energy, whereas the real antimatter must be entirely antimaterial. Matter, as it is constituted, is subject to annihilation, but antimatter, if it is to be free from all material symptoms, must also be free from annihilation. If matter is destructible or separable, antimatter must be indestructible and inseparable. We shall try to discuss these propositions from the angle of authentic scriptural vision. And Prabhupada churns the tail of the scientist so hard that see what Srimad Bhagavatam is telling. The Lord as the Supersoul pervades all things just like fire permeates wood, and so he appears to be of many varieties, though he is the Absolute One without a second. And Prabhupada gives the same ideology because Prabhupada is including this purpose and through his very vast knowledge. He was also a scientist. He did BSc in chemistry. And Srila Prabhupada was interested then how the entire material world, that what we call spiritual world, has also been on the mind of this scientist. Srila Vyasadeva has a disciple along with Jaimini, Gautam and other. This is Kanad Rishi. Kanad, or Kanabhoji. In Bengali, he's called Kanabhoji. Bhoji means eating. His entire brain is chewed up with the atomic, nutrition. And he suggested that the spiritual world is also anti-particular. Anti-particular, not particular, but anti. It means it has all the characteristics opposite to the particles. All right? It is so powerful, they did not estimate anything. But Prabhupada says, we have 3/4 of the creation made up of anti-particle. Only 1/4 is material particular world. Tripada vibhuti, ekapada vibhuti. So like that. So, Prabhupada says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Lord Vasudeva, and by one of his plenary parts expands himself all over the material universe, and his existence can be perceived within atomic energy. His presence is perceived in atomic energy. Atomic energy is what we call high energy emanating than the ground state particles. Ground state particles in physics are called, they do not interact that easily. Unless and until they interact like a negative ion and positive ion can combine, positive and positive cannot combine like that. So, we eat salt, the salt is sodium chloride, right? The sodium is a positive ion combined with chlorine. So, NaCl is the formula. But one valency to sodium and another valency to the chlorine. In that attraction, if there are many particles also make recombinations in different ones. So, during the creation, Krishna created so many things. Out of 24 elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego, 3 subtle and 5 gross elements were created. So, the 5 gross elements, the ultimate presentation is earth. Because from one element, another element generates, from another element, the third element generates. So, tejo vari mridam yatha vinimaya trisarga amrusha. Trisarga means creation, sustenance, and dissolution. Right? Even though he created these elements, he is aloof from it. Damna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. So, Prabhupada is taking this scientific fact. They are representing only 1/4 of the truth, not 3/4 yet. So therefore, Prabhupada said, we agree with the first 2 proposals, but we don't agree with the third one. They acknowledge at least that there exists an anti-material world, and it's also particular world, but anti-particular world. Characteristics is different. So if they are given Nobel Prizes, yet they fell short of concluding. That's why they want to split the atom and try to investigate more and more. In south of Dallas, about 55 miles away, when you go to Austin on I-35, there's a place called Waxahachie. And Waxahachie was the experimental town they dug about 10-mile radius underground tunnel, few miles inside, and established the apparatus to split the atom by bombarding, electron into a proton. They speculated, but this was how many years back? About, I would say, 50, 60 years back. And the energy was released so much that they can't estimate. They were very much afraid that it will act like an atom bomb. So they abandoned the experiment there. Millions of dollars have been spent. Kiske baap ki Diwali. Right. So anyway, then they came up with bigger idea, much bigger. They dug the tunnel between the border of France and Geneva, and Switzerland. That border, 25 miles radius. 25-mile radius. You circumambulate your Naperville and you will get it. So that big tunnel underground, about 10 kilometers inside. So they put superhadron colliders to split the atom multiple times to see antiparticles. So during that time, I'm talking about 12 years back, that they did experiment at their laboratory called CERN, CERN, and they tried to put at every four corners super sensitive and high resolution cameras. At that time, probably we were getting few gigabytes of resolution, but they did multiple gigabytes just to capture the photograph at 4 different places, splitting. And they want to show to the public that yes, we captured the God particle. So in between, there was another Nobel Prize was given, those who went little deeper into this experimental knowledge. There was Professor Higgs and another Indian scientist, Professor Satyendranath Basu. So they call Higgs boson particle. The entire particle name was Higgs boson, and they call him God particle, G-O-D, God. Just to capture God. Now, billions of dollars have been spent, right? Today, even that laboratory is there. And they did, on a very advertised way, so the attention of the whole world will go on them, and they wanted to master by capturing God particle, the cause of creation and destruction. Because it is given by Kanadrashi, Kanabhoji, in Bengali he is called Kanabhoji. He is an atheist, and he is describing atomic theory. So many Indian scientists were also joining. A group of about 2,500 scientists were after God particle. And they advertised prior to this what is going to be anticipated, that we will capture God particle on camera. So they did split. They have to repair first, make sure that the energy that is going to be released in splitting the atom will be tremendous. So the tunnel which was taking all these tubings for electron to travel, it will become so hot. And the first attempt they have to abandon because of the possibility of the explosion. So here they did, they put helium coolers, in the tunnel, fixed at different calculated distances to cover 25 miles. So keep the experimental cool. Another $1 billion there. And then they captured the so-called God particles, not one. And they got confused. Hey, which one is God? Which one is God? This is really foolishness, and they got so much confused that even after 12 years, that lies idle. And the scientists got so much frustrated, and funny thing, it's not conventional, but Indian scientists, they say, you blame it to Lord Shiva. He is the Lord of Death. So they brought Nataraj 22 feet high in height, a big circle of Nataraj dancing within the circle, and the fires are coming out. You know that, have you seen the dancing Nataraj? It's the Lord of Death, because he devastated the destructions, he devastated at the end of Brahma's life. In the end of Brahma's day, only pralaya is there. Okay? And Lord Shiva has nothing to do. Everything dies off. But at the end of Brahma's life, Lord Shiva has to do Tandav Nritya and destroy everything. So all the planetary system will be burned to ashes in the fire. That is called Samvartaka fire. It comes out from the mouth of Shankarshan, the Sheshanag. Lord Shiva is also transformation from Sankarshan. And Lord Shankarshan is an expansion of Balaram. So Balaram is responsible for the destruction ultimately, and Balaram is the second body of Lord Shri Krishna. So we get the link, and Prabhupada picks up and try to split their hair. And what is this? We agree with you, yes, you indirectly agree with us. We don't agree with the third proposal that in given time, place, when both the particular world and anti-particular world they come and collide with each other, there will be total devastation. Prabhupada says no. The anti-particular world is ever existing. And the soul is coming from that world. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्नायाम भूत्वा भवितावान भूय अजो नित्यम शाश्वतोयम पुराणो न हन्यते अन्यमानेषु. So this fact Prabhupada puts up in order to take up the lead amongst the wrongly guided scientists. Because in theistic science, that is an atheistic science, yet they are after God particle. And do you know, they play some dramas to abuse Lord Shiva. One drama was leaked up, and it was leaked out, and it was published. I think you can still look into Google. CERN, CERN, CERN laboratory. Just Google, and you will see Lord Shiva. It's almost 20 feet eye murti of Nataraj dancing. And the embodiment that on the circle is fire. The flames are there. Casted flames are there. And they understand here is the Lord of Death, so let's grab him. But they are so frustrated in their experiments that they hate him. So they abuse him. They use American slang, abusing words, and that were captured on the tape. And that tape was leaked out. So I'm talking of about 12 years back. Just 2 years back, in Times of India, they said, and the sun is sitting idle, getting rusted. They cannot think further. They are so much hooked up on a incomplete proposition, and they convince other fools like them, not to extract money. Many top Indian scientists from California were there. And they were giving so much boasting explanation of this and that, and well, you are welcome, Prabhu. But a big blow on the face of the science, material science. But how Prabhupada put it on the theistic way is very important for us. So, matter, antimatter, proton, neutron, etc. are all different effects of the Paramatma feature of the Lord. As from the wood, fire can be manifested, or as butter can be churned out of milk, so also the presence of the Lord as Paramatma can be felt by the process of legitimate hearing and chanting. That is the foundation of our process. Legitimate hearing and chanting. Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu smaranam pada sevanam. Then comes afterwards. But these three things are essential. At least it qualifies us for the first initiation. Okay? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. For second initiation, Vandanam, Pujanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Pujanam. Three things. Okay? That requires second initiation. But then, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. You have to give up this collision with particular world, become detached from it, and take up the process of anti-particle or the transcendental process of entering into the divine realm, which is Tripada Vibhuti. Tripada Vibhuti. 3 times bigger than this so-called manifested material world, Ekpada Vibhuti. So, Srila Prabhupada, we can understand that even such material knowledge is there. But Srimad Bhagavatam gives perfectly both phenomenal as well as numinous, according to the Ishopanishad. Vidyam cha avidyam yastad vedo bhayam saha. Avidyayam mrityun tirtha vidyayam amrutam ashnute. We have been trained up in just, or the whole world is mesmerized by training up in only avidya. And you can't cross over the birth and death. So that is a waste. But vidyayam amrutam ashnute. By cultivation of spiritual knowledge, you will become deathless. Amrutam. No death. You'll be liberated. So that is the foundation of the theistic science. So Prabhupada is a transcendental visionary. He was sent by Lord Shri Krishna to uplift the whole humanity. But we are so much ill-trained that even in our application of Krishna consciousness, we have to struggle against the Mayavad, the impersonalism, very respectfully. Just past Janmashtami, Narendra Modi was invited in Delhi temple to talk about Lord Shri Krishna, but he doesn't know anything about Lord Krishna. So he went on Bhagavad Gita and he glorified Bal Gangadhar Tilak's impersonal Bhagavad Gita, and he also tagged that this was very inspiring to Gandhiji also. Gandhi has a spiritual master who was Sonar, he's a Soni from Mumbai, and he's from our Surat district. There is a movement that he started called, it is impersonalist. I started forgetting. Old age is coming on me. All right. But regardless, but he was well known, and he has several centers still existing in our district. Okay? We do not see much spread around, but Gandhi was following him, and it is said that he has been student of him, so that is his guru. I just got a flick and I forgot again. No. He's Nirasharam, Baba, but he is not a Krishna Bhakta. Anybody uses Bhagavad Gita but does not consider the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then that is not fair, But Mota was in Bharuch, okay, and he used to hide in a cave, but one of his disciples started spreading in 1980s a wrong message, because Hare Krishna was becoming popular in our South Gujarat at that time when Prabhupada brought the devotees in Surat, and they got the best reception ever, So this gentleman published how we have new invention of Mahamantra. You chant this and you will get all the material benefits as easy. He said, Hare Soham, Hare Soham, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Mohan, Hare Mohan, Mohan, Mohan. Very imitative. Very imitative. But he didn't last long. Because natural acceptance is on the base of our internal perception. What soothes our heart, which is in blazing fire of material existence, chanting Hare Krishna has authoritatively been given. So, still, it's here, but it's not coming out. There must be some short circuit in my mind. Just not enough. Eh? No, Rajachandra. That's you are correct. Srimad Rajchandra. Srimad Rajchandra, that is the personality, and he has many centers on. Really? Because he is Jain, himself an atheist. But Srimad Rajchandra was an impersonalist view. And therefore Gandhi said that he has doubt that 5,000 years back whether Krishna was moving around within our community. So that is written in his biography. So what kind of misguidance is there? They don't have any conviction, and they don't have any methodology to make Shraddha into Nishtha, even unshakable faith. It's all conventional. Srimad Rajchandra, you are correct. And he was a merchant, a goldsmith in Mumbai. He was having business and commenting on Bhagavad Gita. But anyway, what we need to understand that Modi was invited by ISKCON, and I saw only little glimpse because recently they did, on Janmashtami next day, they went on the YouTube, and you can get it still. And he was speaking in Hindi, and I saw Radhanath Swami also sitting in the front line, and he was asking his disciple, "What is he saying? What is he saying?" It was difficult for him to understand. But I also saw Gaurang Prabhu clapping. And that is what we call ISKCON's publicity. Today in the morning I read that ISKCON is filing lawsuit of 100 million, 1,000 million. What do you call it? 100 crores of rupees lawsuit against Maneka Gandhi. Maneka Gandhi. Because she said ISKCON is sending the cows to butcher houses. So defamation. Now Kali Yuga starts. So the point is that the group of atheists, they may be called impersonalists or Mayavadis, but they are atheists. Foundation is atheism. They might try to compromise a little aspect with incomplete knowledge, but Prabhupada is nirvishesha sunyavadi paschatya deshatarine. Those who are impersonalist and nipat sunyavadi means zero, that is Buddhist. Their ideas are completely foiled by the heaviness of Srimad Bhagavatam. They don't understand divinity and divine service. Krishna can be only known as he is, undivided by devotion. Bhaktya tu ananyaya shakya aham evam vidho arjun gyatum drashtum cha tattvena pravishtum cha parantapa. Krishna gives complete access to himself and his realm and his activities to those who are worshipping him with undeviated mind, undivided devotional service. Ananya. So Ananya Bhakti is very essential. One-pointed, right? So it is as good as, shooting the beam of electrons. One-pointed. If they can physically shoot an atom which is not seen, and electrons can split the atom and release all these different kinds of particles, what a pinpoint, target is there. But then we see Ananya Bhakti is also counteracting that title. The target has to be, target is Lord Krishna, is the center point. And he is becoming accessible by the divine process, which is spiritual knowledge. Materially, Krishna is far away. Naham atma na pravachane na labhya athava bahuna shrutena va ena atma tan labhya ham vivrute tanu swam. Vivrunute means on his sweet will, if he chooses somebody, only he receives. What a target is there. Out of thousands of people, only one tries to make his life perfect. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidhatati siddhe. Yatatam api siddhanam. You are all yatatam, we are all yatatam api siddhanam. Kaschin mam veti tattvataha. But he becomes available. So, sooner or later, devotees have all bright future. So, it must be, understood that entire material process is devotional service, and Paramatma can be felt by the process of legitimate hearing and chanting of the transcendental subjects, which are especially treated in the Vedic literature like Upanishads and Vedanta. Srimad Bhagavatam is the bona fide explanation of these Vedic literatures. So, Srimad Bhagavatam deals with transcendental subject matter only, not material. By choice. And those who are choosing the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are called sadhus. Sattvatam. So this is called Sattvata Samhita. Srimad Bhagavatam is glorified as Sattvata Samhita. The Lord can be realized through the oral reception of the transcendental message. Wow. And that is the only way to experience the transcendental subject. Oral reception. Because this is the most sensitive and perceptibly strongest sense. Hearing. How would you recognize under your sleep that anybody is intruding? Which sense will be helping you? We are also in darkness of ignorance. We are sleeping souls. To wake up, which sense will be more conducive? Hearing. Suppose a thief has entered in the house. You can't smell it. You can't lick it and taste him. You can touch him. And your eyes are closed, so fourth ind is also gone. Only by hearing the sound you will recognize it. So the transcendental sound will recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the methodology. As fire is kindled from the wood by another fire, the divine consciousness of man can similarly be kindled by another divine grace. That is, his divine grace is the Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. His divine grace, the spiritual master, can kindle the spiritual fire from the wood-like living entity by imparting proper spiritual messages injected through the receptive ears. This means, what is this hearing process? You may hear and you may choose to throw it out from the other ear, Or you may hear and try to put it through the cranial services to split at your leisure to understand, wow, what Maharaj is telling. So you may think, but according to the Kapil Dev to Devahuti, he is suggesting, my dear mother, you have to associate with the sadhus, right? And in that assembly of sadhus, you will perceive my potency, spiritual potency. How? Satam prasangam mama vidya sambida bhavanti rad karana rasayana katha. In the association of devotees, you will perceive my strength, my spiritual potency by hearing the topics of the Lord and His divine leelas. When such topics are heard from the ear through the heart, that is the deep down consciousness where it emerges. That is the heart. Bhavanti rad karana rasayana katha. Rad or karana. Rasayana means like chemical exchange. So there is some exchange or transcendental nature is occurring. So tajjoshanavam apavarga vartamani. The ignorance will be dispelled and it will be exposed to the transcendental light of knowledge. And it will open the path of liberation. Apavarga. Apavarga. Pavarga means papababhama. And apa means completely reverse in meaning. Pa means parishram. Pa means phal. Ba means bandhan. And bandhan creates bha means bhaya. And bha means is creating ma means mrityu. So path of sinking down into repeated birth and death is called pavarga, but apavarga means path of liberation. Tatajjoshanavam apavarga vartamani shraddha rati bhaktir anukramashyati. If we hear with proper rapt attention and through the emergence of consciousness, not external senses, but emergence of consciousness is coming through the soul who is empowered by super soul. Because consciousness, Chetana, comes, is a gift to the living entity. But human being is given an extra sensitivity that he can transcend by using this Chetana. But we ended up with gratifying our senses and never served the senses for the pleasure of the Lord, who is the proprietor, who is the giver of the consciousness. So, therefore, we are supposed to engage our senses in the service of Master of Senses, Lord Shri Krishna. That is called bhakti. Rishikena rishikesham sevanam bhakti ruchyate. So this purport gives a very profound answer to the dilemma that we are facing. But if we go repeatedly, we will be exposed to the absolute truth, at least by acknowledgement, then by perception and realization. So, therefore, one is required to approach a proper spiritual master with receptive ears only. Receptive ears. When we go, we don't think or we don't listen to the spiritual master. But because everybody is going to him, let me go. No other thing. And thus divine existence is gradually realized. The difference between animality and humanity lies in this process only. Animality means eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. But humanity means dharmo hi eko yatra vishesho dharmena hina pasubhi samana. The one that sustains our reality is the consciousness which is endowed, gifted by Paramatma. Otherwise, we were extinguished already. Why he has to revive? Because he loves us. That we forgot. So anyway, a human being can hear properly, whereas the animal cannot. So if we are not hearing properly, we will be thrown back into animal kingdom. Homo sapiens. Anyway, thank you very much. We have questions. Can you take that remote? Very heavy. Yeah, Prabhu.
Their class was so much mesmerizing. I've read this verse many times, but the way you took this verse from the Kannada theory of atomic theory, and then you made
That Prabhupada took, not me.
but the way you explained, Mark, it was like
I was splitting the hair.
you personalized Ramchandra over there. And then you went to the theistic philosophy and you quoted the verse Bhaktya Shakya and Nahamatma Pravachandabhyo. Then you quoted Kapil Dev verse 325-25. So it makes so sense. Previously I was trying to read these verses and okay, I'm memorizing. But now when you're speaking from all this going all the way down the letters, this was like it's churning nectar. So like now question I was just appreciating that thing. Now my question is, Maharaj, I was also appreciating Srimad Bhagavatam where Srimad Bhagavatam was giving the Paramanu and Krishnanu theory, but scientists are trying to bombard them, trying to get Paramanu, but they never reach to the Paramanu. They might never reach to Krishnanu also, right, Maharaj?
Well, there are many types of Paramanus. If you split a particle, it will create more particles. Now, which one is which? You will be lost. You can't keep track. They were anticipating that there is only one entire particle amongst that, and which is giving even electrons the energy to revolve around a proton. They didn't understand why the hell in a ground state matter, if you see the atomic structure, and yet electrons are moving in a dead matter. Who said this is dead? And you know that? So many mesmerizing situation that personification is given to even mountains and rivers. Why do we name them, and why do we worship even Ganga with crocodile and Yamuna with Kachua, tortoise? Why the animation with the demigods? Because they are all empowered personalities, and they have their own world. So, but they know anti-particular world also. The demigods know the spiritual world, but they are stuck with their duty. They are stuck with their duty. And this dutifulness is attributed to their worshipable deity, Chaturbhuj Narayan. So even Krishna was present before Bhishma Pitama. He requested, Bhishma Pitama requested Krishna that, can you please show me your four-handed form? Why? Because he was serving under him as the chief of the Vasus. Vasus are protectors, the general manager of the material world. And they all work under the guidance of Chaturbhuj Narayan. So he is Krishna. So Krishna showed him that roop. Arjuna also showed it. He was showed when he could not tolerate the Virata Rupa, he prayed that, my dear Lord, please show me your Saumya Papu. Arjuna was also showed the four-handed form, but he said, I can't deal with you. You show me your original, that is two-handed form. That's why Krishna is two-handed and man is made in image of God to get a special opportunity to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna directly. So yanti devrata devan, pitrun yanti pitruvata, bhutani bhutejyanti, madhyajinopi mam. How Krishna is cleverly separating himself to be worshipped, and foolish people, they don't want him. They want off-track situations. And Krishna says, what can you do? I fix their faith. I fix their faith so they can stick to them. So we do not generally force anybody to become Krishna conscious. Let them be happy, because there is a generalized term described in Mahabharata by Vyasadeva that akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram. The drop which is falling from the sky, eventually it becomes a rivulet and then goes and mixes in the river and finally in the sea. तो आकाशात पतितम तोयम यथा गच्छति सागरम सर्वदेव नमस्कृत्यम केशवम प्रतिगच्छति. Look, I will go to Krishna ultimately. But then, what does it mean by prati? Prati means pratibimb. It's a reverse image. It's called pratibimb. Why they didn't tell Vyasadeva said that you will go to Keshava? Remove the word prati. Oh no, prati gacchati. Wait. Wait. Get a lot of, dirt along with you and then merge into ocean. It's not easy to go back home, back to Godhead. But man has been given by the mercy of the Lord, and especially in Kali Yuga, to invoke the transcendence through chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
So Maharaj, thank you again. So to some extent, the scientists did do the great work reaching close to Srimad Bhagavatam, like exploding paramanus. To some extent, but they didn't get to the point where there is one paramanu, where the main paramanu. But Srimad Bhagavatam is giving clear answer that this is the paramanu time of the time paramanu. So Srimad Bhagavatam is authentic.
Are you contacting BI, Bhaktivedanta Institute?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, then. Rasaraj is conducting this kind of research by quantum mechanics. The quantum theory is applied by Srimad Bhagavatam. And he uses for conscious studies And his BI is capable to give anybody PhD through Bombay University and Pilani University and Berkeley University in California. These three universities are pushing up his project. That's a great achievement. But anti-particular theory, anti-particular world, this is our subject.
And last question. So at least I was appreciating Kannada that he's saying that there is an anti-particulate matter, but they don't know the triple vibhuti. I was appreciating that.
No. Kannad was an atheist. Kanabhoji, Kanadrushi was a disciple of Srila Vyasadeva. Just like Jaimini, Gautam, and other rishis are cited, they are also propagating impersonal atheistic theory. Even Jaimini spoke Srimad Bhagavatam in a little lucid way by the request of Janmejaya, Parikshit's son, to tell him Srimad Bhagavatam. Because he was there, sitting along by the side of Sukadeva Goswami when he was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. Jaimini Rishi. And this is spoken by our Sanatan Goswami, and he picks up, Jaimini narrates Srimad Bhagavatam. That Janmejaya was little very angry and envious towards the serpents. Remember, he used to invoke all the serpents and put in the sacrifice. He was not appeased because Takshak bit Parikshit Maharaj. So, Sanatan Goswami develops that theme, spiritual, which is very, very, in parallel line with our spiritual understanding. It is really relished by the devotees. Those who are non-devotees, they would not have, it's a fiction. They will say it's a fiction. Now, these are the literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. They cannot be blasphemed. Huh? Yes. As well as Lagu Bhagavata Amrita extols Krishna, the Supreme Person, not Narayan. Yes.
Thank you for one of the class. I was just wondering, that was the final question was my question actually.
Oh, yeah.
There were 6 or 7 philosophers who were disciples like Kannada or Jain, etc. So I was wondering, in the Shastra it is said, Vishnu Bhakto Bhave Daiva, Asuram Tad Viparya.
Yes.
So anybody who is opposite, even the worshippers of the demigods are considered to be atheists.
Yeah.
Then at the time of Vyasa Mahamuni, how can the disciples can propagate such kind of impersonalism, and why is it not being put on spot? Maybe that is there something which is
okay.
A lot of atheism in the world, and later Shankaracharya comes with a different purpose.
That's okay. Like Jaimini Rishi, he wrote Karma Mimamsa. Right? And Karma Mimamsa glorifies the expertise in activities of human being, and that is not the perfection. When you see in Krishna, when it says, Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhava yagyat bhavati parjanya yagya karma samudbhava. Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi. Karma is the energy which is of the Supreme Absolute Truth. So, karma brahmodbhavam viddhi, brahmaksharam samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nitya yagya pratishthitam. Yagya is a kind of karma for the satisfaction of the Lord, and karma belongs to Krishna. So if you have right to perform activity, but why not fruits of it? Karmanyeva adhikarase ma phaleshu kadachana. Because you will be easily trapped. You came with an intention to lord it over separately from Krishna. That was a misuse of minute independence.
So that means the sages have misutilised their intelligence.
Yes.
Because Vyasadeva is a perfect.
No, but at the same time, it gives guidance, but atheistic guidance based on karma, which will be applicable to every human being, because they are born in the darkness of ignorance. And the kind of activity that they are supposed to do should be sanctioned by Lord Shri Krishna. So Varna ashram system was implied. Besides that, the purpose of Varna ashram karmas are just to please Lord Shri Krishna. अतः पुंभि द्विजश्रेष्ठ वर्णाश्रम विभागशः स्वनुतिष्ठस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिम हरितोषणम. So karma and dharma are two entities. So when karma mimamsa is there, then there should be also dharma mimamsa. And dharma mimamsa can be only based on the transcendental knowledge of Krishna's desire. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. But karma is imposed by the three modes of material nature. It's Krishna's arrangement. So under that inspiration, anybody can pick up any subject matter and explain it.
So is it not that the general public gets deviated or motivated? Because Vyasadeva gave Srimad Bhagavatam after these great personalities, they're also taking away.
Yes, but when the knowledge, material knowledge expands, is it going to stop somewhere? But it is being repeated. Is it not repeated? Every millennium it will be repeated. We may forget in between, but such authors, they have been probably, in one way we say, that they were empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to dwell into this kind of karmic activities and show what are the repercussions if you do not follow your prescribed karma. Naturally, both the things have to be included. Yes. We can't pick up only one. Why the activities pertaining to pleasing Lord Krishna is not called material karma. However expertise material karma cannot be compared with the activity of bhakti. So, the fact has been given. Narad Muni says, Narad Muni is not propounding karma, he is propounding only pure devotee, devotional service. So, even in our immature state, a devotee falls down or gives up. What is inauspicious for him? Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam harer bhajan apakva patet tato yadi kova bhadra. Yesterday was Bhadra Purnima. Means all auspiciousness. Kova Bhadra. What is inauspicious for a fallen devotee? No. You can't decry him. Soon he will become righteous. Krishna gives the guarantee. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. Soon he will become righteous. Swasachantan nigacchati. Kaunte pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati.
Another disciple of Vaishnav,
Yes.
he was also telling Mahabharata.
Yes, but Vaishampayan is coming in the category of a Purani. Suta's father was a Purani. Balram killed him, the Maharshana, right? He was not qualified. He did not develop Vaishnava character and qualities. So, Sutta Purani, even though senior, Balram say no. Balram installed his son, Sutta Goswami. It's called Romharshana Sutta. So in short, Sutta Goswami to become Purani. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutam Janasi Bhadram Te. Sutta Goswami, you know what is the ultimate welfare of the people of Kali Yuga. So we are, with the same intention, we are organizing. Satra means the sacrifice of hearing and chanting for 1,000 years for the welfare. They actually propagated the Bhagavatam, but it is for 1,000 years, not for saptahs. There are so many Puranis, they can't survive more than a week. They have to take a break. But we are taught Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam. It doesn't say yearly, monthly, or what. So, Prabhupada said one verse a day, good enough. But put yourself floating in the nectar.
All right, last question. The verse says that the Krishna consciousness is dormant in everyone's heart.
Yes.
And the verse in Nitya Siddha Krishna Prabhasadika Guna, Shravanadi Pradeshita Kari Guna. Now, when I'm a book distributor, I go to different schools for preaching. Now, the way you express it makes sense, but how can we say to the Christian that, sir, the God consciousness, we cannot use the word Krishna, God consciousness.
Or Christ consciousness, you can tell that. Christ, Krishna is the same thing.
It's dormant in you, but you need to hear, and by hearing it the spark will become fire.
Prabhupada said, I'm not converting you. You can chant the holy name given in your scripture. Our Father in the heaven, hallowed be thy name. Mother Mary, please bless me. All these chants are there. And they also use rosary. But if they don't get tangible result, then Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna. So you have all patience with you, right? But don't forget him. He will need you. Ultimately, we do not proselytize, neither we force anybody to take up Hare Krishna. If you have love, then what is the difference? Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. They will appreciate. You should be inspired more because Prabhupada also comes in the dreams and preaches and they become devotees. Yeah, Indradumna Maharaj wrote the article in Bulgaria or somewhere. One little girl attended the show and she got a book. She brought him, and her mother was a very staunch Catholic, and she saw that, what is this? Throw it away. We don't study this kind of things, we are Catholics. Oh my God, Jesus, please save us. And this. And she was insisting that book should be thrown away. She hid somewhere, somehow or another, And mother forgot. She also almost forgot that girl. But her grandma came and got the book. And he saw the picture of Srila Prabhupada and she was amazed. Then she started reading something and she was more amazed. And that night, Prabhupada came in a dream and she completely fled out. She started chanting Hare Krishna herself and started teaching her sons who she was staying with, and no more meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, everything. And she came and visited, that girl's mother, her daughter, and she chastised her. I got this book from your house. It was hidden somewhere. And must have a year or more passed away. But she said, I got this book. This is the religion we must follow. Give up your stupidity, but hallelujah, and this and that. And when mother tells, everybody shuts up because her sons are becoming devotees and they get together and do the kirtan and everything. Simply, she was mesmerized by Prabhupada's photo and his appearance in the dream and giving the mercy. So Prabhupada is still preaching. He is still preaching. Okay? And such inspirational stories are found in. Why the devotees are not publishing their experiences, miraculous experience? Previously, in Sankirtan newsletter, all the stories would be printed, but they stopped it because it became so voluminous. They thought we can't print all these things. Huh?
Where can we get those miraculous stories?
Diary of a Traveling Sannyasi by Indradumna Maharaj. When he comes, grab him and request him. He will have stories after stories.
Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada said we have to be in devotional service. We would have to have 4 regular principles to follow. The scientists are trying to find God particles, and they are not in 4 regular principles. How would they understand God particles?
They are going against. So Krishna is not, helping them. They fail. Because that is not the process of finding God. Unless and until they perform pure devotional service, they will be blessed, not otherwise.
Right? Stanford or Berkeley or Princeton. How can they convert this
Oh.
scientists?
That's why Prabhupada opened up BI. So let them tackle. They are publishing literature, they are exchanging, they are having international conference, science and religion, so many things are going on. Now there are 2 to 3 BI units. Everybody is in a different direction that they think they have to conquer.
I'm sorry, man. Still, we are not competing with science, right? Science is always ahead of us. We have proof, we have theories, we have expeditions, we have research, we have Vedas, we have scriptures, Puranas. But still, it's so hard to publish one paper in scientific journal.
Who said? We did.
We did, but still, people are not convinced.
No, that's why some universities are recognizing conscious studies. Conscious is divine energy. It is going through us, and how can we ignore? We may term it as material, but they can't prove it. But we go our way by engaging our consciousness into serve Lord Shri Krishna according to his desires. That will set us up in the direct perception. And that direct perception is an individual source of reality. And everybody will be able to follow. They will get the same results. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. This is scientific. It will happen right before your eyes. Avagamam means stepwise. You perform. Ādau Shraddha Tato Sadhu Sangha. These are all the steps. Then Dharmyam Susukham Kartum. The performance itself is very pleasant. You will not get bored. And Kartum Avyayam. The result is the same because it is pleasant for everybody, no exceptions, and it is inexhaustible. It's a permanent thing that you gain. Scientists are still empty-handed. They are actually bankrupt. They have to get a begging bowl and come to the devotees. And some Indian scientists are sensible because they have been developed in understanding by Srila Prabhupada's purpose. Some of them are thinking that, we can't impose on others our old idea. But the bhakti is a prerogative of each and every living entity. It doesn't have bound of some geographical region or a language. No. That's why it is spreading throughout the world. Of course, the purpose was spreading through the English language because everybody is following English language. Suppose Srila Prabhupada has translated in Bengali, that is his mother tongue. Again, it would be required to translate in English. So Prabhupada says no. Even though Indian English, they were not appreciating. Some people commented. But Prabhupada said, I have not written this. This is Krishna's language. He dictated and I simply wrote. Otherwise, how is it possible for an old man to write all these things? But nonetheless, he was infused with the potency of the Lord. Otherwise, physically, he was incapable. Materially, he was incapable. And he cultivated proper attitude to spread this imperishable science. Humility. The sakshat experience of humility you will see in the life of Srila Prabhupada. So na bhuto na bhavishyati. But still, everyone who are directly connected with him or indirectly connected with him, no problem. There is no process of indirect realization. Everybody has direct access to Lord Krishna, so everybody has direct access to Srila Prabhupada. All right? Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.